Good day, everyone. We're back. So today we will move on to the fourth institution, economics. We will discuss its definition and role in society, basic economic concepts like supply, demand, and scarcity, and its economic systems, capitalism, socialism, and communism. Economics is the study of how individuals, businesses, governments, and other organizations make choices about the allocation of scarce sources to satisfy their needs and wants. It seeks to understand the production, distribution, and consumption of goods and services, as well as how economic agents like consumers, firms, and governments interact within a society. At its core, economics explores how resources are allocated in the face of limited availability or scarcity and unlimited human desires. Rules of economics and society. Resource allocation. Economics helps society figure out how to allocate limited sources like land, labor, and capital to produce the goods and services people need and want. This is especially important because resources are scarce while human desires are virtually infinite. Efficiency and optimization. Economics aims to find the most efficient ways to use resources to produce the greatest possible output. Economic theories and models help societies decide how to maximize the use of resources without waste. Income distribution. Economics also addresses how wealth is distributed among individuals, communities, and nations by studying income inequality, poverty, and wealth distribution. Economics can help develop policies that promote fairer wealth distribution. Policy making. Governments use economic principles to craft policies related to taxation, public spending, regulation, and monetary systems. Economics provides tools to assess the impact of policies like stimulus spending, tax cuts, or interest rate changes. Understanding markets' behavior. Economics helps explain how markets function, why prices change, and how businesses set prices. Understanding the behavior of markets and consumers can lead to more effective business practices and economic policies. Global trade and development. Economics also plays a critical role in understanding global trade, international economic relations, and the dynamics of globalizations. It helps in formulating trade agreements, international cooperation, and economic development strategies. Basic economic concepts. Supply and demand. Supply refers to the quantity of a good or service that producers are willing and able to sell at various prices, while demand refers to the quantity that consumers are willing and able to buy at those prices. The law of supply states that all else is being equal as the prices of a good rises, the quantity supplied will increase, and as the price falls, the quantity supplied will decrease. The law of demand states that all else being equal as the prices, the market equilibrium is the price at which the quantity supplied equals the quantity demand. If prices are too low or too high, markets will adjust to find this equilibrium. Scarcity. Scarcity is the fundamental economic problem of having seemingly unlimited human wants in of limited resources like time, labor, capital, and raw materials are finite. Societies must make choices about how to allocate them effectively. Scarcity leads to the need for prioritizing needs and wants and influences how goods and services are produced, distributed, and consumed. The concept of scarcity is essential to economics because it forces societies to make decisions on what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. Opportunity cost refers to the value of the next best alternative that must be forgone when a choice is made. In simple terms, it's the cost of missing out on the next best alternative when making a decision. For example, if you spend money on a concert ticket, the opportunity cost might be the books or clothes you could have both instead. Utility and marginal utility. Utility refers to the satisfaction or benefit derived from a consuming a good or service. Marginal utility is the additional satisfaction gained from consuming one more unit of a good or service. In economics, the law of diminishing marginal utility suggests that as you consume more units of a good, the additional satisfaction or benefit decreases. Economic systems. An economic system way a, is the way a society organizes the production, distribution, and consumption of goods and services. It defines how resources are allocated, who owns the factors of production like land, labor, or and capital, and how decisions are made about what to produce and for whom. There are several different types of economic systems, each with its own advantages and disadvantages. Capitalism, market economy. In a capitalist economy, the means of production, like factories, land, capital, are primarily owned by private individuals or corporations. Market forces, supply and demand determine what goods and services are produced, how they are produced, and for whom. Characteristics: private property and individual ownership of resources, free markets where prices are determined by supply and demand. Profit motives drives innovation and efficiency. Limited government intervention. Example, the United States, Japan, and much of Western Europe operate with capitalist economies to varying degrees, though many also incorporate some elements of government regulation and social welfare. Advantages: capitalism encourages innovation, economic growth, and consumer choice. It also tends to allocate resources efficiently. Disadvantages: it can lead to income inequality, exploitation of workers, and environmental degradation if left unchecked. Socialism, command or planned economy. In a socialist economy, the means of production are owned and controlled by the state or the collective. The government or central authority makes decisions about what to produce, how to produce, and who gets to consume. Characteristics: collective or state ownership of resources, central planning where the government decides how resource allocated, emphasize on social welfare and income equality. Price controls and regulation. For example, Cuba, North Korea, and to some extent the former Soviet Union. Advantages: socialism aims for equitable distribution of wealth and resources. It prioritizes social welfare over profit, aiming to reduce inequality. Disadvantages: lack of incentives for innovation and efficiency. Inefficiency due to central planning and potential for government overreach and lack of individual freedoms. Communism, extreme form of socialism. In a communist system, all property is owned collectively and there is no private ownership. That ultimate goal is to create a classless society where wealth and power are equally distributed, and the state's rule gradually fades away as true equality is achieved. Characteristics: abolition of private property and class distinctions, centralized control by the government over the economy, though in theory this would eventually lead to a stateless society. Equal distribution of wealth and resources. Example, historically communist economies were seen in the Soviet Union, China prior to market reforms, and Cuba. Advantages: promotes economic equality and aims to eliminate poverty and social classes. Disadvantages: The absence of private incentives can stifle innovation and efficiency, and government control can lead to inefficiency, corruption, and authoritarianism. Mixed economies. In reality, most countries operate with a mixed economy which incorporates elements from both capitalism and socialism. For example, the government may proceed certain public goods such as education, healthcare, or infrastructure, while allowing private businesses to operate in the marketplace. Most modern economies, such as the United States, Canada, and European countries, fall into this category. For conclusion, economics is the fundamental disciplines that helps explain how societies manage their resources and address issues of scarcity, production, and distribution by understanding key concepts like supply and demand, scarcity, and opportunity cost, as well as the characteristics of different economic systems. We can better understand the decisions that shape the economy and ultimately affect our daily lives. Each economic system has its own strengths and weaknesses, but understanding these systems is crucial for informed decision making and effective governance. Thank you.